When I was planning this talk, I was listening to some songs, and I was listening to Barry White, and that was actually, as I was sharing earlier, the inspiration for this presentation, because as I was learning about birds and how they court and what they invest everything. They are hardwired and driven to develop these relationships and to produce offspring and to be successful. And a lot of what they do in their courtship behavior is strengthening that bond so that the pair will work together and be successful. So birds have it on monogamy. 90% of bird species are monogamous. Now, there's a difference in how long they are monogamous, but they don't necessarily fool around. With mammals, it's the other way around. Only 10% of mammals are monogamous and develop lifelong bonds. If you look at animals like foxes, coyotes, wolves, some apes, but not really, and humans. I don't know. We're a successful portion of the time, right? Yeah. So it all depends on the. Yeah, I have a.
Hope springs eternal.
Hope springs eternal. Yes. So I have a relation. It's 22 years. So it's like really scary sometimes when I think about it.
45.
But. All right. Yeah. See, so I've go ahead. So 10% of birds form lifelong pair bonds. 5 to 10% form pair bonds several years or more. And 75 to 80%, mostly songbirds, last only a single breeding season. But they're in it for that season, so they are totally devoted to. And it's surprising who is and who isn't. So like pigeons are not monogamous. They change mates sometimes in the middle of the season, sometimes just breeding season to breeding season. But mourning doves are. And they will continue a lifelong relationship. Now, sometimes that relationship isn't very long because, you know, they're high on the menu. But if given the opportunity, they can live long. But anyway, they establish those bonds. So, like, lifelong bonds. So 15 to 20 years. Albatrosses, petrels, shearwaters, puffins, penguins, didn't know, gannets, cormorants, and frigate birds. That mostly seabirds, all right? So waterfowl, swans, mute swans, black swans, greebies, which I have in here, some duck species, some raptors, so eagles, hawks, falcons, owls, vultures, and osprey. They all develop lifelong bonds. Owls are known to die from grief if they lose their mate, especially barn owls and great horned owls. Yes. So they just seriously, they will just turn their back to the world and die. Yes. Yes. So I just wanted to share 2 ways that birds develop a bond. One way the birds develop a bond, and then one way that they reinforce it. So black-footed boobies. Does anyone know what they are? They're a seabird, but they've got really cool blue feet, bluefoot. So a female blue-footed booby if she likes the color of a male's feet, the bluer the better.
The bluer the better.
So like there's Elvis with the blue suede shoes, right? She will join in a high stepping strut. And the walk is similar to, I don't know if you guys are familiar with like the Beatles when they have that video. Some have seen it where they cross each other's legs when they walk down the street.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they do. And if she likes the way the blue feet move, they will go on and consummate it, and then again they are a pair. And It works lifelong. I mean, even if she sees another guy with bluer feet, she doesn't wonder. She stays with who she originally chose. It's just, I know, it's just fascinating. So, and red crown cranes, and they're in Asia, they have a synchronized, most cranes do, they have a synchronized steps. It helps these birds bond for life. In pairs, the cranes will bow, they will bob their heads, they run together with wings outstretched in a romantic ballet. And I couldn't find a video of it that fit into the program, but if you ever get a chance to watch it, it is really pretty, and they're stunning birds. But they do that all through their courtship and all through their relationship.
You said red-headed?
Red-crowned
Red crown.
cranes. And they're like Asia, it says East Asia, so like China and I think parts of Japan and that area. All right, are you going to go forward? There we are. So let's start with a definition. So courtship is defined as behaviors aimed at attracting a mate, including singing, dancing, running around, gathering and presenting food, trying to look big, standing somewhere up high and yelling, and generally making oneself look ridiculous. Yes. So we're going to move right into dancing. So for male birds, those are sandhill cranes on the one side. For male birds, courtship dance is a form of communication. So to show off strength and abilities. So she's paying attention to his dance moves. Watchful females assess both the behavior and appearance. Some birds use the dance to develop and then strengthen the bonds between them. So they all are born with the moves, with the idea of what they're supposed to do, and each pair develops their own dance.
That is so cool.
It is cool, isn't it? And then they repeat it, yes. So, and it strengthens the bond over the years for repeating the dance ritual. Because even though they travel down here and then they travel back up to Alaska or wherever they go in the area, together they can get separated. But when they land at home and then they land in their wintering grounds, they redo that dance. And their children are watching the dance, but they're learning the moves, but not necessarily their parents' dance, because they're going to create their own dance when they meet their bonded pair. All right, so this is the albatross, obviously, the Laysan albatross. Okay, so the oldest tag banded bird is an albatross named Wisdom. She's 70 years old, and she's on her 4th or 5th mate because they've disappeared. So she has to get reacquainted.
It's kind of a neat.
It's a cool
kind
story.
Of a neat thing when they find her every breeding season to come back to that nesting site, and they see her band, and they go.
Yeah,
kind of
and
like
she keeps coming
set
back,
out.
and she keeps raising babies. Yeah, she's amazing. Yeah, at 70.
That's crazy.
So with albatross, so we're gonna get into them a little bit. They don't even start to even think about dance or courtship or the other sex until they're 3 years old. And so they leave, when they fledge, they go out to wherever albatross go, out to the ocean. And then at about 3, something clicks, oh, I need to go home. So they come home, return to where they were born. They instinctively know the dance moves. So this is what's really cool for me. So they gather in large groups, and they just do the moves. You know, they just dance. They go, you know, here's Bob and Joe and Sally and whoever, and they're all just dancing in like a large group, like 8th grade, all right? And then over the years, the groups get smaller and smaller. So now we're like moving into, I don't know, high school, college, whatever. And as the birds get more confident, at 8 or 9 years old, they break off into pairs. All right? I mean, 8 or 9 years old.
It's a lot of dancing.
That's a lot of dancing, so they've got it down, right? So the pair will perfect their own dance sequence unique to them. And they will repeat it every 2 years. I mean, I cannot remember sometimes dance moves that I did the night before, right? And they can remember the dance moves in a 2-year span. So, and they return to their mate. So we're going to watch them if it works. And if there's a commercial, which I don't remember if there is, I'm sorry, up front. Do we need to turn it up? Can we turn it up? Thank you.
Kiss, kiss.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, look at that.
Now, the camera's going to move away because it's not someone filming. It's one of those stationary cameras that pans. But no one else is paying attention. No one else is into the dance. It's just them.
There's those two.
Come on back. Come on back.
That's one of those islands from World War II. With all the bombs and everything.
They're really getting into it. They're very happy to see each other. All right, sorry.
That's cool. Yeah, they're built classics. It's so cool.
Oh, I don't want to do that again. Excuse me. There we go. All right, now we're going to watch A Bird of Paradise. Okay, so there's a little mischief at the end. I'm sorry, I'm not good enough to edit, but you'll get the idea.
He's going to find a mate.
Okay, sorry about the commercial. Come on. Skip. No, come on. Sorry. Why won't it skip? All right, Kevin, come on. Why won't it? They all worked this morning. Why can't I get in?
Oh, you know what's happening is it's probably not letting you skip through on the PowerPoint itself.
Oh.
Just let it play. We've got.
Oh, are you sure?
You'd have to give this.
Let me skip the other one.
Mandatory break.
Darn it. Well, it's worth the wait.
It's almost done. 5 seconds.
I'll get better, I promise. There we go. The words aren't important. It's a bird of paradise.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing.
Looks like velvet, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's so black.
There she is.
Yeah. Look at her. Look at her. There she is again. Yeah. Look.
So, so the key with this dance is when she shows up, you notice that his circle gets smaller. He has a broad circle.
Oh, he's getting closer to
Yeah, and then he works his way around. Now this is what, I'm not good enough yet to,
All right.
anyway. But he was successful. It worked.
His dance works.
Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here.
All right, now we're going to watch the restaurant Greebies. I wanted to give you guys an opportunity to see different birds display their dance moves, and this is actually my favorite. Should I just play through the commercials, or should I try it again? No, it's not going to let me. I'm sorry.
It's still on Bird of Paradise Dance.
Oh. There we are. Oh. There we are. Ah, living spaces. I can't get rid of you. They should. We should get our own WBU commercial. That'd be worth watching. Kevin's right. This is worth the wait, though. This is really cool. It's got David Attenborough, who can like soothe anybody.
Look at that little head.
Isn't that beautiful? You just want to watch it over and over again.
I've seen that before.
Said the freshwater lakes of Western Oregon.
Colorado too.
Walking on water. Dancing on water.
All right. Wasn't that cool? It's like I can watch that over and over again.
Is it a stamina contest?
Seems like
Yes, yes. Well, I think it's not. I think that is when they first start out to do it, when they're first getting to know each other. Because we're going to talk about it, but females need to know that, you can stick it out.
Yeah.
That you're going to be a good provider. That's what she's looking for, and but it's just beautiful to watch them. And they are one of the birds that have lifelong pair bonds. So, and what I noticed in doing this, what I pulled out of it was the longer the pair bond is with the bird, the more elaborate the rich courtship ritual was. So I'm like, oh, you guys, they got it going on, these birds do. They really do. So we're going to move into song. We've done the dancing. We're going to do into song. And northern cardinals, curve-bill thrashers, northern mockingbirds, sparrows use song to attract a mate. Okay. Males, this is fascinating. It's kind of off script, but males learn their first song from their fathers. All songbirds, they learn their first song from their father, but they don't repeat that song because every male bird has their own song. A lot of them are mimics. A lot birds, like even your goldfinch, your little lesser goldfinch, there's a mimic. Mockingbirds and curve-bill thrashers, they're mimics. So they can pull from other birds they hear, and they incorporate their own. They put their own twist on it, and they put it in there into their songs. They do incorporate their father's song, but not in the way he sings it, because it's an individual song. So they're like musicians, they come up with their own little deal, and then they put it out there for the girls to hear. And, I just think they're so neat. So identification of individuals. So actually, you can identify individual mockingbirds or curve-bill thrashers by their song, especially. Females sing too. It's a new science. They thought just guys sung, of course. It took a female scientist or ornithologist studying birds to realize that they have their own songs. Now, they're not singing the same thing. For an example, the male mockingbird could be singing, or even the cardinal, because the female cardinal sings. Well, he could be singing what a beautiful day it is, and I've got a pretty wife, and blah, 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 and she could be singing a grocery list. You know, in response, we don't know, but because there hasn't been that much work done. The fact that they figured out that female songbirds and some species in particular have their own songs, that is a breakthrough, really. And it's helping to identify and count the birds, females, because, you know, you can have all the males you want, but if you can't come up with enough females, where are you going to go? All right. So when the mockingbird's up in the corner, the curve-billed thrasher is down below him. There's the cardinal, and that is a song sparrow. I tried to pick birds that you guys were all going to see and be familiar with. Oh, that mockingbird, my screen is not fitting right. All right, anyway. So we got nighttime crooners. So I don't know if you guys, you know, come April when it's really nice and you open up your windows and you can't sleep, it's midnight because there's a bird singing. It's a mockingbird. So they have a credible range and memory. And again, their range is because they have memorized between the time they're between they heard their father's voice, so that they start working on it, all the way till about not quite 2 years old. They can create and memorize and record in their brains 200 different songs. And at any time, they can pull the stanza. So usually they sing in threes. So they'll sing da-da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da, and then they'll move on. So if you listen to the mockingbird, and they'll move on to another three, okay? And then they'll move on to another three. It's usually like 6 in a row. And then if it doesn't get anything, they'll either go back and repeat it or they'll change it up. But what he's doing from the nighttime crooners, what he's doing from the time he fledges till he gets a mate, is he is perfecting his song. So he's singing at night because nobody's around to interrupt him. All the other birds are singing during the day, and he can't get his voice out there. He can't practice. So he's out there at the top of the very highest tree singing his little heart out so that when he meets the one, he's got his song is perfected. So, you know, and like it says up there, practice makes perfect. Mockingbirds, outside of parrots, are one of the few songbirds out there that mimics, I don't think curve-billed thrashers do this, but they mimic other noises. So they were put into their song car alarms. They're known for putting a car alarm in there, mimicking that. Sometimes they will mimic their version of a siren or something else that they hear in their environment constantly. Video games. Do they do that? Yeah? Yes. Kestrels, I know they do that. And hawks. They will mimic hawks. So curve-billed thrashers, they have original songs. They do mimic, but they mimic other bird songs and calls. That's not, I'm sure they might have the capability, but it's not been documented that they mimic other sounds. But they are known to sing in the morning, early morning, so just as the sun, just before the sun comes up, and they will sing late into the evening. But they leave the midnight croning to the mockingbird, yes. Come on. There we go. Make sure I'm going the right way. There we are. we're at preening. So we see this a lot with doves and lovebirds. So preening shows affection. So it reinforces the pair bond. So all birds preen each other. It's just to the extent, and some of them have rituals that they preen with. Like preening might come with head nuzzling, or might come with beak touching, or might come with the sharing of food as well. It helps with feather maintenance, so they're taking care of each other. But this is so cool. For the longest time, they thought that songbirds, because birds are so visual, they see, and we know they hear, but they use their eyesight more. Scientists didn't realize that they had a sense of smell, but they do. They just don't use it for foraging. They use it to search out the perfect mate. So preening releases those oils that drop clues to females about the male's health through scent. So it's like humans wearing a cologne or perfume. So that Old Spice, or Irish Spring, whatever, gets them going. Yeah. Yeah. So we have a bird. I have up there birds that are known to preen, like our lovebirds, our cardinals up there, northern cardinals, doves. You see a lot of that. And then the eight-bird's towhee. And the mate flew away. I don't know what was going on. They were having an argument. So I only have the one. So I apologize. But they were actually preening until, of course, I get my camera out and, you focus it because it's in my backyard. And then, it's like at the zoo when you're going to take the picture of the giraffe, and then the giraffe, all you get is the butt because it's turned around by your, yeah. Jeez. Yes. So gift giving. So the birds up there that give gifts are jays. That's the belted kingfisher. Cardinals, again, they're feeding. That's not my picture, but I thought that was really cool because they're known for feeding each other and beak touching. And then those are corvids. Those are actually crows. And no, he's not giving her a bauble. It's some sort of fruit that he has, that he's feeding her with. So gift giving actually shows affection. It strengthens their pair bonds, shows creativity on the part of the gift giver, which I think is so cool because we just think of birds as birds, but they're actually creative birds. So eagles and red-tailed hawks will bring branches to add to the nest, or greenery to brighten the female's day. I've actually seen this. If anyone has watched Arthur and Big Red on Cornell Labs, Red Hawk Cam, they're a long-time couple. They've fledged like 30-something red-tailed hawks. And Arthur is very, very, very much in love with Big Red. So much and so that he brings her greenery and flowers while she's sitting on the eggs, and he will actually put it there. If she doesn't like it, she'll tell him, and he'll move it. So he refreshes the greenery every day or every other day, and it's so interesting. I wouldn't even think that they would do that if I wasn't actually watching it on their camera. Another reason they bring greenery, especially if it's pine or cedar, depending on where they are, something that's fragrant, is insects. How do they know that? I mean, we buy Febreze or a Raid, but they actually know what plant to put in the nest to keep mites away from their babies. I mean, it's just, see, you get inside. This is where I go. I go down these rabbit holes with these bird brains. So, sharing food, feeding, sharing food, feeding your partner, bringing food to the female. It's all about showing support and strength as a good provider, but also trust. So think of the rhinoceros hornbill. I mean, they're fairly a they're long-lived pair bonds, right? And if you're not familiar with it, they're African birds. They're rather large. They have a rhinoceros-type horn on their bill. And they can live over 30 years, and they have a relationship that long. But every time that they're going to have babies, he picks out a dead tree and makes a cavity big enough for her and her babies. She gets in there, okay? She gets in there, and he seals it up. She helps him until there's just a hole, yes, so they can touch beaks and put food in there. Yes. I'm like, oh my God. So this is where my brain goes. What if he decides he doesn't want to feed me that day? I must have trust issues because she doesn't think that way at all. And neither does he. Otherwise they wouldn't do it anymore, right? Because they wouldn't be successful. Yeah. Well, they do. Once the babies get too big, they start to break it down, and she goes, I got to get out of here because the kids are driving me crazy. Right. So she will start to break it down. Ravens and crows bring shiny baubles to their partner. That's why I wanted to make sure he's not putting like a crystal ball or something down her throat. He's giving her a piece of apple. So, and they will also give gifts, and so will grackles, give gifts to people who feed them. So, the belted kingfisher, of course, he delivers fish and insects because what says love more than a slimy, mushy fish, right? If you're a kingfisher, I guess so. I would prefer the shiny bauble. All right, so roadrunners, we have them. People have been talking about them. Roadrunners made for life. The behaviors that you can see, there's several pairs at the Gilbert Riparian. So you'll see them chase each other on foot. This is actually at the Riparian. So this guy is showing off his he met a girl, and that's what he did. I said, oh, there were two roadrunners, and she was like not paying attention to him. So he did that, and I said, oh, that's the boy, and then the girl, yeah. Then she ran off, and he's chasing her. So that's literally what's going on. But they are a pair now because I don't know if they've had any babies, but I see them together a lot. I don't know if they've been successful, but he gives gifts of twigs and grasses to her, kind of like flowers. He does a lot of tail fanning and wing display, and the male brings food to the female, but he has a tease with it. So, yes, he does. So he'll have a lizard that he's pulverized or a mouse that he's pulverized because that's what they do. And he goes, you can have this. I really want to give it to you. And he wiggles when he does it. But I need something in return. So so they copulate. And then he feeds her. He just brings them. So because what says love again more than a pulverized mouse, right? Yeah. But it works for them. So
transactional.
yeah. So I used to have a friend, she's still my friend, but she doesn't work here. She lives in Texas now, but she used to work at the Phoenix Zoo, and she used to work here too. She had 2 jobs at the time. And she used to take me for tours around the Phoenix Zoo because she could get in and out of places. And they had 2 roadrunners. They had a pair of roadrunners there at the time. And they wanted them, I don't know why they wanted them to, but the zookeepers wanted these 2 roadrunners to have babies. And so they decided we're just going to show them pictures or video of other roadrunners, doing the act because they couldn't figure it out. They had a male and a female, and nobody knew what to do. So they showed them, they literally just showed them YouTube videos, I guess, I don't know, of roadrunners doing the behavior. And before they knew it, these roadrunners caught it on. They had 7 baby roadrunners. And then, yeah, and And then they kept going. They had 13 baby roadrunners, and before they knew it, they had 20 some odd baby roadrunners in a year and a half. And they go, what are we going to do with all these roadrunners? Gee, maybe you should have thought about it before you showed them the video. But yeah. So once they get the hang of it, they're very proficient. It was fun to watch the baby roadrunners. It was fun to watch their behavior and things like that. But I have no
tell the religious rite.
Yeah, I have no idea. Yeah, I have no idea where those baby roadrunners went. I mean, I'm sure they went to other zoos or they're someplace, but anyway, they're like they were up to their necks in baby roadrunners. Yeah. It worked. Yes, it did.
They are teachable.
Yes.
Yeah, obviously.
Yes. So feathers. So feathers is another cue that birds use to not only attract but to show off. And so we have the western tanager, the lesser goldfinch, we have the house finch, and we have an oriole, the hooded oriole. Yeah. So vibrant colors shows off the health of the male bird. Shows he's a good provider. He knows how to find food, and he knows how to have the right food, find the right food. Because the female wants healthy babies, and she wants them to have the right coloring. And yellow and red are closely related to diet in the bird. There's a genetic trigger that says, oh, these feathers should be yellow, but unless I have enough keratin, I can't make them yellow or I can't make them red. That's the thing that's going on. So he needs to know what food to eat. Yes. All right. House building. So house building, what does that represent to the female? That represents security. It secures a territory. Most of these birds are territorial. Provides sufficient shelter, which is important. You know, if you're going to start a family, you need a place to live, right? More people need to get that idea. And it shows that he's a good provider. So cactus wrens are really, the top of the top's a cactus wren. We have the verdin. That is a house wren. It's very territorial. And we have the Gila woodpecker. So the Gila woodpeckers, what is it? They started building their new boot, if they're paired up, in February, because they have to build it, and then it has to cure before they can lay eggs in there. And the problem that the Gila woodpecker has is that they will build build a new home every year. So they have to start in enough time so that it can cure, so they can have babies. And in that curing process, who moves into that hole? Starlings. So then, if they don't have enough time, they miss out on that season. So, the starling can't.
One at a time?
They only build one boot at a time. It's a lot of work. It takes two. It's to build a boot, and they know exactly how big the hole needs to be. They know how deep it needs to be. It's called boot because it's curved. So, yeah. But cactus wrens, this is really funny. Cactus wrens, they build decoy homes. So he'll build a house, and then if she doesn't like, he'll build several homes. Let's say he builds 4, just for math purposes. He builds 4 houses. She picks one. He'll go around and he'll say, okay, you can have that one. I'll have this one. It's a little closer. It's closer to you, but there's not enough room for them both to be in the same place. So there's a she shed and a man cave. Okay. Because it's spherical, same with verdin, they build their entrances in relation to the wind and the sun, so that the home has good air conditioning, good heating. It doesn't get too hot, doesn't get too cold. I don't know how they know. I would like to know so I can put my tent in the right way, but when I'm camping, but I don't have a clue on how they figure it out. But when she's picked her house, he will build up to 3 to 4 more. But he builds decoys. So he builds the entrance and then he blocks it off. So why do you think he does that?
So, invasive birds don't?
Close. Predators. They are OCD about snakes. Cactus wrens hate snakes. Hence the reason they're in the Troya. All right? They hate snakes. Obviously, they've learned from experience that snakes are bad for eggs. So they build decone nests. So the snake has to slither up this Troya. And I'm sure it's prickly. I'm not into snakes, so I'm sure the snake kind of feels the prickles as it's going up there. And then it gets its head into the nest and it can't go anywhere because it's prickly, it's full of sticks. He goes, ick, I don't like this. And the idea is that it won't go up another one. And he builds enough around his territory that to discourage more than one snake, possibly, or from the snake trying to. And they're very careful about when they go in and out of their nest. Entrance is the time that they do, so they don't give it away to snakes, as if snakes are looking. I don't know, but they don't give it away. I don't know what snakes know. I don't even want to be inside a snake's head. I have enough trouble getting in and out of a bird brain. But verdant, they have man caves and sheds for females. Can't say that right now. And they do the same thing. They build an entrance that provides ventilation as well as heating. And it is spherical. House wrens are cavity nesters. They're very picky. If she doesn't like the location, he has to start all over. He tries one. If he doesn't like it, they either go off together and find a new one that she does like, because they're cavity nesters. So they really have to find abandoned little notches and things like that, holes. Or he's out of luck. And she's going to go find one she does like, because it's very important where she puts her eggs to her. I already talked about the Gila woodpecker. So now we're going to watch, we're going to watch a video from bowerbird. You guys know that? There's several different species. They're not monogamous, so he builds a house to attract the ladies, so he builds like a lounge, And then he builds it. Yeah, he does, because depending on the color of the bird is what he'll pick. So this particular bird is blue. It's called a blue bowerbird. So all of his decorations are blue. So if he was red or orange or, a different color, he would choose those colors, and that's what he would decorate with. But I wanted you to see the house. He does sing. So the house and his vocalizations, what attracts the female, but you can't see what happens in the house. It's not clear on the video. I'm gonna have to get better, but there we go. All right. And there we go. See the blue in there? You see how it's curved? There's a lot of padding at the bottom. And after a few minutes, because this is kind of long, it's 4 minutes long, but you'll see the females pop up.
Yeah.
He gets them lined up. He does. I've watched this enough times that he's got one after the other.
Is it just found items that are the right color?
Yeah, like
Trash or anything?
some of it does look like trash, but I don't know. I guess string. Flower petals, feathers from other birds. I've seen them collect rocks that have a blue tinge or a different color tinge on them.
Wow, he changed his tone.
Yeah, it's like excited.
It's like when you win at the slot machine.
She's in there.
She's trying really hard. There's two females, so I know there's another one. Yeah, she's watching. Yeah. I know she goes in. There. See, and there's the other one coming.
Where'd he go? He left.
He was too intense. He decided to back off.
He finally got one. And
No, she's there. Inside.
There he is.
he got cold feet.
Come on. Oh. Well, he does. He does get one in there. All right. No. We don't want to watch this again. We want to go to this.
Well, not you.
There we go. Oh, do we?
Oh, eagles.
Oh, okay, this is my next one. All right. So this is a bald eagle courtship display. I tried to get red-tailed hawks, but the videos were not very clear. This is very clear. Let me see. I thought I had another slide in between there.
Oh my.
Wow.
What? Oh my. Trust fall.
See, those are immature, so those were not.
They survive. They survive. No, I don't want that. I don't want that. What's next? All right, hummingbirds. This is for Gretchen because she's got a meal Costa.
Time to nest before the desert gets too hot. Both birds are looking for a partner. But the choice of mate will be hers. It's up to him to impress her. That is impressive. In front of her, rocking back and forth in a display of flying prowess. Though his back shimmers with green, it's not until we get her
Looks like the alien predator.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, exactly.
glowing mask of violet.
That's amazing. No.
Facing into the blazing sun, he swoops back and forth, his face a fiery flower before her. How can she possibly resist him? And yet she does. Perfecting his performance is going to take some practice.
We don't, yeah. Come on. There we go. So, yeah, you don't get to see that very often. I was actually also trying to get hummingbirds like the broadtail and the Annas. They go 130 feet up in the air, and then they dive down. And when the broadtail comes down, they've got that feather when they're sexually mature that makes a trilling sort of sound. So they make that sound when they do the U, and it's that trill sound that really gets the female's interest. Not the fact that he dove 130 feet, but the fact that he makes that sound when he pulls up. And Annas will actually, when they do their dive, I've seen them actually pin the female, because, you know, what says love than being pinned in the dirt, you know, after a 130-foot dive. But, yeah, he'll pin her there very gently because she flies away. But why submit yourself to that? But anyway, it's, the bird world. So, but I couldn't get those. Actually, I could see them. I did find them, but I couldn't get them big enough so that you could see them. So they are out there. The videos are out there, but it didn't. It didn't transfer well. So there's amazing partnerships in those. So we saw those courtship displays, and they start out with amazing partnerships. So I just wanted to highlight a couple more. So there's a bird in Africa again. The black wheat ear is a small bird, slightly larger than a sparrow, house sparrow, but not as large as a Ebert's towhee. Does that? Okay. It breeds in the cliffs and the stony slopes of western North Africa. The male ferries in flight on an average of 4 pounds of stones to a waiting female. Not with his feet, with his beak. With his beak. That's what he does. And if she likes the way so the females are sitting up there. So there's more than one male doing this. It's like what they do. If she likes the stones if a female likes the stones that a particular bird is bringing and arranging, she will help him arrange the stones. And that starts their pair bond. But can you imagine ferrying that much and not getting anything at the end? I mean, So red-winged blackbirds, the adult male, will provide protection for a harem of females. He will recruit younger males to help him in protecting territory. So he has a territory. So that's an adult male. He's got the red epaulets, okay? All right. If you see red-winged blackbirds, but their epaulets are yellow, those are younger guys. Those are like junior guys. They want to be the guy with the red epaulets, but they're not there yet. So they are learning how to be the big dude on campus by participating in it. And he has females, the big red guy. He has his females. I'm not sure how many he collects, but possibly 5 to 7, I would think, because they're fairly successful. And, they mate. But the females are kind of smart. And they realize there's all these young guys around. And they go, we kind of need genetic diversity. So they are promiscuous. They will lay some eggs from the big guy, and they will go and fool around with a younger guy or two, and then they will lay eggs from those. And it's successful for them. It works. That's a female red-winged blackbird. You don't see her very often, or I think she's beautiful, but most people ignore brown birds, and she happens to be brown because she hides in the reeds. But I just think that's a fascinating dynamic, how they've worked it out, and both how the females have worked it out and how the males have worked it out. So there's something new that came up when I was researching, and this is as of this year. I don't know whose job it is to watch rockhopper penguins and macaroni penguins, but it is someone's job. And they recently discovered that the rockhopper penguin hops up rocks on the side of a cliff up to 300 feet. Okay, I don't know why. They like the view up there. Okay, and these penguins hang around lower to the ground. So a female rockhopper penguin, she's on the green, went out of her way to get the interest of the macaroni penguin, the male over there. She chose him. And they are studying why she chose him. She chose not to hop up the I think she's smart. You got a nice looking guy right there, and you don't have to hop up the 300 feet to the cliff and risk your life. I mean, hello. But, and they mate for life. So he had to have an interest in her. Okay. And they are raising a baby, and they call it a rockaroni. No, that's true. That's true. That's true. I thought that's what caught my eye. I said, oh, I got to share this. But anyway, they're watching to see how it happens. Birds are the one species that does intersect that way. And they're finding it more with, they're just not sure whether the baby will be able to reproduce. So they do find it, what they're finding, they're watching hummingbirds, and they do find it in orioles, and they do find it in grosbeaks. The reason is they overlap in habitat. And if, so I know it's in rose-breasted grosbeaks and, what's the other one they share with? Black-headed grosbeaks, okay, because they share habitat. And in Bullock's orioles, or orchard orioles and Baltimore orioles, because they share habitat. But if there's if the female finds herself short a male, and there is, let's say she's a Bullock's black-headed grosbeak female, and the males are not doing anything for her, or they're all taken, and she finds a rose-breasted grosbeak male, and they click, they will. And they do produce a hybrid. But, so they're studying it to see if these hybrids reproduce. It's happening with warblers on the East Coast. Again, it's habitat. There's 2 warblers, and one warbler is, it's one that's really, not endangered, but vulnerable. It's more susceptible to the habitat that's being lost, the loss of habitat, than the other one. And the other one, so it's choosing to mate with the one that is more adaptable. And scientists, we could freak out because, we could lose one species or the other. And they are watching that with the warblers, these 2 warblers that are both yellow and black, so how are you supposed to tell them apart anyway? But because the DNA is preserved. So they're not really concerned, but they are kind of concerned with hummingbirds. So Allen's and I think it's Rufus.
Yeah, those are the 2 similar.
Because they share habitat. Allen is struggling in California. It's a California hummingbird, and it's struggling, and the Rufus moves through. Well, the Rufus is also on the decline because of its migration. It's got such a long migration from Mexico all the way to Alaska that it's choosing not to. Or it's the females that decide. Okay, so a female says, oh, I've had it with Alaska. I'm going to hang out in Northern California. I like the weather, and this guy looks okay. I don't know what's going through their head, but that seems to me that could be what's going through their head. And how they're finding out about that, about the hybrid, is with hummingbirds in particular, is that when they ban them, when they come through Arizona, the Rufuses in particular, come through Arizona and they're being banded, they check DNA and they look at the tail feathers. And so they're going, well, they found it in females. This, like the tail feathers are, this looks like a Rufus, but it's a tail feather. She's got the tail feathers of an Allen, or, So they're finding it in there. So I don't know, we'll see. But I thought that was really cool. The penguins. And who knew penguins did that? But, I guess when your back is up against a rock, you do what you have to do, right? Because sorry, that's bad. You're hardwired to reproduce. They are hardwired to reproduce, and they are making decisions that they think is going to satisfy that, but also hopefully carry on the species, because no bird wants to be extinct or endangered or vulnerable. So it's amazing. So anyway, yes, it is true. I double-checked it. All right. So now we get to the fun part. Now we get to how may we support our birds during their courtship. There's lots of things we can do. So we can feed them well, because if we feed them well, they're healthy. They've got those vibrant colors for both males and females. and they'll be encouraged to produce maybe not one brood but two, because we need them to reproduce so they can bring joy to our backyard. So you can provide nesting material. So we do sell nesting material. We have it in this ball. This is really popular. This is for hummingbirds and small birds. This is a house finch nest that came out of my backyard years and years and years ago. It's almost all made of this material. So I didn't pluck it out of the tree. It fell out when the wind blew. Okay. So it is successful. There are other ways. If you just want to buy the refill, you can, we have all sorts of creative ideas that you can use what you already have in your backyard to put this in. It does go. They do use it. It's,
And that's healthier for birds than
yes. So, yes, thank you for mentioning that, because there are do's and don'ts to providing material. It has to be organic. You don't want any strings that are too long that get tied up in their feet. So if you're going to provide string or yarn, it has to be like 100% cotton, and it should be no more than like 3 inches long, I think it is, so that it doesn't get tangled in the baby's feet or in the parent's feet. You don't want to use dryer lint, because dryer lint collects moisture, and moisture gets wet. And what happens when it gets wet? It falls to the ground. So, and it can have soap in it and chemicals in it. So yeah. You can use your cat hair and dog hair. You can put that out there. Stuff it in your. Yeah, stuff it in there. I do that. I have an obscene amount of cats, and I spend a lot of time brushing them, and I do collect the hair because they're healthy, not well adjusted, but they're healthy cats. And I will put it out there for the birds in the rain. Yeah. I have 2 dogs, but they have really short hair, so the hair doesn't do any good. But I have long cat hairs. No. The community cats in my neighborhood keep having kittens, and I'm really good at rescue and very bad at rehoming. So I'm a foster parent failure. I try. That's why I have 5. I try, but anyway, so that's where we are. But another important thing I want to mention to you guys is if you got 15 minutes this week to sit out in your backyard and watch your feeder or your backyard and count birds, to participate in the Great Backyard Bird Count. It's very easy. It's very important, especially because the birds in the Southwest, especially the birds in Arizona, they're ignored by science in particular, and we don't have a good idea of what's happening to them. I mean, we have an ongoing drought. We have development in our desert. Not saying it's good or bad. Well, the drought's bad, but development. And the birds are struggling. And we have excessive heat and longer heat. So they are watching the birds where they're going to. And we've had several customers come in this winter and say that they have nuthatches. Why is a white-breasted nuthatch here in the Phoenix Valley? Oh, wow. Yes. Why? Because it cannot find sufficient nutrition where it lives. And so they're moving down. Not saying they're going to stay because they're going to go back, but that should be a signal that something's not right somewhere. So, yeah. So anyway, it's really easy. If you don't have the Merlin Bird app on your phone, you can just put it on there. You can identify by sound, or you can identify by what you see. It gives you step-by-step instructions. And then if you just establish a account, which really is just either a username and password or an email and a password, you can upload right from your phone. You don't even have to go to your computer. You can access it all from your phone. You just hit a button. So in that 15 minutes, it's going to record what was singing, what you may have heard. It's going to be all in a list, and you hit the button, and it's going to go to Cornell Labs, who is part of the... You hit the...
My bird,
Yes,
my bird,
eBird.
okay, the bird.
Yes,
Okay.
eBird. E, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And then they're going to record it all. And it's just really important that our birds get counted, because although I think it's really important that East Coast birds get counted and, Pacific Coast birds get counted, but I want Arizona birds counted. So, because they need whatever funding or grants or attention just as much as any of the other birds do. And we don't even know a lot how stable some of our populations are. Let's put it that way. I mean, no one is studying the lesser goldfinch, yet customers, concerned people come in all the time and say, where have my lesser goldfinches gone?
They're at mine.
Why are they moving around? They never used to leave in the summer. Why do they kind of leave in the summer, certain areas, and then come back? So, but, they're not looking at that. So you can provide recovered nesting material. You can provide foods with extra calcium and like bark butter bits, extra calcium and protein. You can actually watch moms feed fledglings or dads feed fledglings with this because it's so palatable that they will, it's easily digested. And you can put it in a little treat feeder. Or mealworms. They're freeze-dried. They're not alive. Curve-bill thrashers, Abert's towhees, love them. You don't even have to put them in a cup. You can throw a little bit under a bush. And if you don't care about where the leaf litter goes, it's really fun to watch them dig it up. Think about your windows with window strikes, because I'm going to tell you the number 1 and 2 killer of birds are window strikes and cats. So if we could get everybody to put stickers on their windows and keep their cats inside, the birds would have a fighting chance.
And those rainbow ones make beautiful
Yeah.
rainbows on your walls inside.
Yeah.
When the sun goes through those.
Yeah. So we do have these available to you. And it's always a good idea to provide water. And there's lots of different ways you can provide water, through sprinklers, through we have dishes, bowls, all sorts of things. And that is it. It's a Q&A. It's Q&A time. I do have. There's the boobies. Yeah. So I did want to mention that one thing that I didn't put in there when I talked about mealworms. 90% of more than the 10,700 known bird species rely on insects for food. Okay, during at least part of their life cycle. So think about that when pest control comes by. Insects are disappearing at 1% to 2% a year. So again, if birds don't have something to eat, we won't have them. I do have ways, if you have an annoying mockingbird, I have 2 ways that you can stop their singing. Of course, they're not singing yet, but they will. I know they will. And they go to the top of the tree and they do that little flip too. Yeah. So you can wait it out. Because eventually he's going to find a mate and establish a territory and he'll stop singing. Or another thing that they think is the reason that mockingbirds do this, especially because they're known to do it at full moons, they do it in urban areas, is because of the lights. So if you could, I don't know, turn down your lights, darken your backyard, because they think the artificial light is confusing to the mockingbird, because it does need to sleep, but it's not sleeping, it's continuing to sing. So they're thinking that maybe the lights are a source of sunlight or natural light to get him to stop singing. That could help. I'm not saying it's going to work.
The street lights, they need to
Yes.
turn those
Yes.
too. I have
Yes.
a couple of them.
Yes. Yes.
Crazy LED lights.
Yes.
Street lights are just like touristic.
So, I don't know. Do we have any questions? Not saying I have an answer, but I'm open to take a few. No?
Thank you. That was really good.
I do have my references. I don't use AI, so I do it all the hard way.
Good.
So,
There was a question back here.
I do have a quick question.
okay.
When you were talking about the doves and their, sometime they had, like partner, correct?
Mm-hmm.
But some of their lives don't last that long. Do they get a second partner then if their partner passes away, do you know?
Yes, because they're hardwired to
So they will
reproduce.
have a
Yeah,
second partner,
but
just-
the average life of a dove, a mourning dove, is a year and a half.
That's why they have 3 broods in like.
That's why. Yeah, I already have baby doves in my backyard. I've already had 2 sets.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What's their max size?
They can live up to 9-10 years if they're not shot or, because we hunt them, or eaten by a predator. Yeah. The oldest banded mourning dove, I believe, was 9 years old, which means she was banded and then they caught her 9 years later. So long.
See, the purpose of the flipping for the mockingbird is just to get attention,
I,
right?
yes.
It's a display.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
I thought it was for me.
Well, I think it's for me. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I like mockingbirds, but we get a lot of people who are not.
Oh, I like the likers.
Well, they aren't you gotta work the next day.
Oh,
I don't think work anymore. That's true, sometimes, yeah.
So,
Happy Valentine's Day. I hope
like we
that
had a condominium complex that had mockingbirds, and they nested in a tree, but it was a low branch tree, and so the male, actually this happened to me last year too, the male dive bombed everybody who walked down the sidewalk, and he literally wants to rub your head with his feet, and it was upsetting them, and they didn't know what to do about it, and I just told them, well, wear baseball caps. That works. So they had everybody who lived on that side of the complex just put caps on when they wanted to walk down the sidewalk, because eventually he's doing that because he wants people to stay away from his wife and his family up in the tree. Eventually, the wife's going to take a vacation, and or she's going to go sit on another set of eggs, because they do that. And he's going to be stuck with the teenagers, and the teenagers are going to be on the ground. So then you don't